Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at our favorite video of each and every weekday, our player props video. We've got on a little 5-game slate tonight in the NBA this Thursday night. Make sure you do check out Nate's great article up on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you. And like and subscribe to that page. We've got a couple other videos up for you today. And also head to thelines.com. Make sure you're using that props tool that we have available for you, listing all of the odds available from odds makers out there and all the NBA props tonight, so you can get the best juice back on those bets. And also head to play.thelines.com, where we've got the opportunity for you guys to win a $25 Amazon gift card there. Head to the NBA Daily Pick'em Challenge, get all those picks correct, and we will send you that gift card each and every night that there's those NBA picks for the rest of the season there. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to ftpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, the guy I feel most confident in right now is Donovan Mitchell, inspired even more by the fact that it took him to go over 25.5 points against the Clips Tuesday and then said, Paul George is playing. That's going to change a lot of things. Good thing. You know, it did change the fact that we wanted the player performance double for him to do some things in a win. And Utah then did not win because PG had 34. And, Utah is just struggling all over during this road trip. I mean, they lost 5 straight on the road, but now they go back home. They're 13-point favorites against the Lakers, who are obviously terrible, have lost 5 of their last 6, allowing a league-high 123. And on 51% field goal shooting in those 6 games. No LeBron, no Anthony Davis, no resistance for Mitchell, who had 37 points on 13 for 24 field goal shooting with a 37.5% usage rate the last time he faced the Lakers. He basically was a one-man wrecking crew in the first half to build the Jazz a lead before the Lakers came back in that game. But the 37.5% usage rate is his average over these last 8 games, as he's dropping 30 points per game, despite having just 12 when he tweaked his ankle against Dallas. He played through that ankle issue. He couldn't hit his shots from outside. Still got 33 points, though, against the Clippers team that is much, much better defensively than the Lakers. And the reason for the spike in usage rate is Bojan Bogdanovic still out. Yeah. Now Mitchell's points per game raises about 4 per game without him, and his usage rate goes up about 4%. He hits about 1.5 more threes per game, attempts about 3 more threes per game without Bojan. And it's just, I feel so confident about it because he's going to have a 35% usage rate against a team that's giving up 120 pretty much on a minimum. It's the blowout factor is a problem, but I mean, we saw Luka have 25 in the first half against the Lakers last time out. So Mitchell's 25.5 points prop, he could get that in the first half for sure. If you do feel like the Jazz will be tested because they have not been world beaters lately, he should get 30 points. And then if they pull out the win, that's plus 200 at FanDuel. I also feel pretty confident about that. Feel a lot more confident about them beating the Lakers than the Clippers with PG back in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at why his usage rate's so high. I mean, who is he supposed to play with? This is such a weird Jazz team at this point. I mean, the guys getting minutes, obviously, you know, Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, they're going to be getting their minutes. But you look at their last 7 games, as we mentioned, Bojan not playing, which is so crucial for them, more so than people really realize. At this point, it's not just crucial for him to be playing because of what he brings to the team. But look, I love Eric Pascal from his Warriors days, but he's getting the 5th most amount of minutes on this team. Jared Butler and Juancho Hernan Gomez are getting the 6th and 7th most minutes on this team right now. So really outside of Donovan on offense, especially, what are you supposed to do as the Jazz right now? And I love that as well, that they lost that game. It felt like such a nail in the coffin for them this year. I know it sounds dramatic, and maybe that's wishful thinking because I do still have that bet for the Nuggets to win the division, and they're tied right now. So I hope that continues. But I love the Donnie Mitchell pick for sure tonight against the Lakers team. That I'm also going to take another player from that game in this second pick, which is Russ Westbrook. We're going to go back to the Russ well when you've got LeBron and AD not playing this season. Who else are we going to pick at this point? I mean, you could consider some Malik Monk stuff maybe, but really Russ is going to be the guy with the ball in his hands. We saw that happen, and they just got blown the hell out by Dallas. The game was over in the first or second quarter, but Russ went for 25 points, 8 boards, and 6 assists, getting you over his 32 or 33.5 point rebounds and assist prop that we called in that last game. That's where we're going back, 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists assist tonight against the Jazz. This season, without just even LeBron playing, I think there's 1 or 2 games where he and AD played together without LeBron. But for the most part, in all the games that LeBron has missed this season, Russ is going 21, 8, and 8 there with about a 30% usage rate. So, 21 points, 8 boards, 8 assists, that gets you over that 34.5 PRA pretty easy. And yeah, he's got a little bit of a revenge factor here as the Utah PA started having some fun with Russ when he was missing all of his shots in their previous game, started playing cold as ice by Rick James there. And yeah, that was also without Bron and AD. That was with Bron and AD, I should mention. And yeah, LeBron had 25 points in that first meeting as well, where not as much opportunity for Westbrook. But I think there's going to be some tonight, as he actually has a pretty good history playing against those Jazz in his last 4 meetings against them as a member of Washington and Houston, dating back to those times just last year. 33 points a game, 53.5% from the field there with 121, about 122 individual offensive ratings. So he's got some good numbers against them. And this is just another opportunity for there's nobody else that they will be putting the ball in the hands of tonight. So Russ, easy getting those 35 minutes, even if they get blown out. He's not trying to come out the game. I feel pretty good about him tonight with those PRA.
Yeah, I mean, people have been speculating in general that LeBron and Russ, more than saving face by making the playoffs or getting wins, just want to make sure they can put up some pretty good numbers here at the end of the season. I mean, they're both headed to the Hall of Fame, and they're both having, LeBron's having a great season, but I mean, for Russ, it's been the worst season of his career, essentially. I mean, it's just because of the spotlight. But he's still the same player, and I love the fact that, yeah, he's got to be pissed about that. And when they asked him about it after the game, he said, "Oh, that's funny shit. I hope they played that the last 13 years when I was busting their ass." And that's true. I mean, he's absolutely lighting up Utah. I mean, he's able to get to the rim or beat this team in mid range. So hopefully that spurs a little more Rockets in Russ shoes tonight. I talked about Paul George coming back against the Jazz, and now his second game out, his props pretty low at 23.5 points, minus 106 at FanDuel. I think he continues to put up points against a Bulls backcourt that is very vulnerable still. I mean, they're giving up the most points per game to point guards over the last 30 games. Paul George, more of a shooting guard or small forward, but he's posting a career high 27.5% assist rate, along with a career high 35% usage rate this season, because there is no Kawhi Leonard, because this is his show to run. And he has 6 assists in 3 straight games dating back to before his injury. As I mentioned, dropped 34 points in 31 minutes against Utah last time out. And he's had 27 and 28 and 27 his last 3 against Chicago, despite some really poor shooting in 2 of those 3 games. He did hit 28 or had 28 points with 5 threes in a January meeting last season. I do like the plus 205 for him to hit 4 threes. I mean, he's a guy who takes double-digit threes almost every time out. Shoots a higher percentage on the road from deep, too. Only 35%, but the usage is so big for George, because that's how the Clippers have to play right now. And, of course, the Bulls have just been struggling on defense with a 116 defensive rating since the start of February. Levine and DeRozan exhausted from doing so much on offense. I don't think they're going to be able to contain Paul George that much on the other end.
Yeah, I don't really think they'd be able to contain him much on the other end, regardless, to be honest. Neither of them are, defensive world beaters, and there's very few players that are up to the task of taking on Paul George. I mean, look, I'm not as confident, I'm going to be fully honest, just because of the fact that we don't know necessarily what we're getting from him. Sometimes if you play basketball and you haven't played ball in like a long time, and then you come back in that first game, you're just kind of lights out. You're not thinking about it. It's just all just, rhythm and sort of feel. And then you start thinking about it and you come back the second and third time you play and you need to get back into a rhythm. I could see that happening, but at the same time, 23.5 points for, one of the best players in the NBA when he's right. And not only that, but he's on a team that has been starving for offense from anybody. That's why Reggie Jackson has a usage rate of above 30% in like 10 games before PG came back. Love Reggie. I love RJax, but that's not the usage rate. That's not the player you want shooting that many times. And now PG, look, it doesn't matter what his percentages are. It's going to be volume for sure tonight. If he just got 31 minutes in that first game back. So I think there's some opportunity for him tonight as well with those minutes and that usage that he's definitely going to get. Speaking of usage and my rookie of the year, which I wish I would have mentioned actually in that Cleveland video, just wanted to throw this out there. Cade Cunningham, still think he's rookie of the year, to be honest. I know that it's probably going Mobley's way. He did get hurt, Mobley, recently. By the way, he's going to be out for at least 3 games. If you look at his defensive rating, which is his calling card without Jared Allen, it's about 7 or 6 points per 100 worse. Cade, it's just really about loving Cade. I don't even want to tarnish Evan Mobley at all. It's just looking at Cade and knowing that he's putting the bulk of this offense on his shoulders, and the way that he went toe-to-toe with KD the other night. KD was guarding him in the fourth quarter, and my man put up 12 points in that fourth quarter to cover that spread per your wonderful recommendation last night. So tonight, 20.5 points for Cade. Jeremy Grant shut down for the year, which means definitely a lot more usage and a lot more opportunity for Cade tonight in not the easiest matchup in the world for this Detroit team playing the 76ers. But I still think Cade, he's going to continue with hitting his last 7 without Jeremy Grant. He'll continue to play this way. 22.5 points per game and 7 assists in that time frame, with that 31% usage rate. So you could consider his 20.5 points minus 104 at FanDuel. I really like that because those odds are great. Or you could consider those assists and get those in there, because we did tell you he's averaging about 7 assists a game without Jeremy Grant. 26.5 points and assists combined. It's minus 115 there, so a little bit worse return on your money, but still, you definitely will benefit from the fact that he's going to get those assists tonight. His last 9 at home, 22 points a game, 5, almost 6 boards and 7 assists once again. And in 36 minutes per game, we're talking about a 30% usage rate in those last 9 at home. So, Detroit's going to keep this one close again, I believe. Closer than, the 13.5 or 14 points that they're expected to lose by tonight, according to Vegas. Actually, I believe it's at 10 points now. It's been bet a bit down, as people have probably realized. Detroit is a little bit better than you realize. And Cade is the reason for that. He's found his form at this point. And I think there's just too much opportunity for him at just 20 points or 26.5 points and assists. You got to feel really good about the Detroit rookie tonight.
Yeah, or you can get better odds at 26.5 points rebounds against the Sixers team that happens to be, the worst rebounding team in the league this year, giving up the most rebounds to point guards in their last 7, because James Harden is often tasked with boxing out those point guards, and he does not do that too often. But you call it the 2-man race with Cunningham and Mobley. You're leaving out my man Scotty Barnes, who's dropped from plus 100,000 to plus 280 to be rookie of the year. And, his team just hopped Evan Mobley's team to get out of the play-in. Barnes has double-digit points in 19 of his last 20. I thought it was kind of strange a month ago for him to be plus 1,000 when it seemed like his numbers were pretty similar to Mobley. So you can still get some value taking Barnes at this point with Mobley dealing with that ankle injury. But if he doesn't play the rest of the season, that's definitely going to sway voters, as Barnes is a key starter for a Raptors team that's won 10 of 12.
Totally. What a ridiculous rookie class this is going to be. Those top 3 guys, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, those are Hall of Famers. That's not much in the NBA. It's a basketball weird Hall of Fame, but still, we're talking legendary careers expected for these guys. And I see it already for them, and love this Cade bet tonight. So we're going to have some fun with that. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. You can check out those other couple videos we have up for you today. And until we see you next, happy betting.